Okay, well, I got something special, gang. You're in for a treat. Yep, bonus episode today. Event. And why? Because, I feel like it. Because that's what I do. I do what I feel like. Right? Isn't that the American way? I don't know. Let's get started. Dun, 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 boom. If you don't know, this is the theme music from the show Soap, the sitcom that made fun of soap operas. It was a serialized narrative storytelling in a sitcom form, which is kind of unheard of at the time, and they don't really do that much. Well, they kind of do that now, but not to the extent that Soap did, maybe. I don't know. Everything's become serialized. I remember there was a guy. I used to watch that show because there was a ventriloquist character on there, and the dummy was really funny. It was like the Urkel of the 70s. Really? Was it the Urkel of the 70s? I don't remember. Alright. So this is it's November 30th still, and I'm doing a special bonus episode event because I feel like it, and I'm trying to think of different ways to different ways of doing the show, or different things to talk about, because I just seem to be just talking about the news and stuff. I'm just talking about the news, and there's more to the world than what the media is covering. There's a lot more to the world, but they're big things, and it's a distraction. It's more of a distraction than like a TV show you watch, or I think the only thing that approaches the kind of addictiveness of the media is social networking and viral video. Yeah, those are the so we got news, we got social networking, and we got viral videos. So those three things encompass the majority of the internet, and they're really good at distracting people, and they're really good at distracting me because I'm always talking about it. And, it's really good at distracting a lot of people because a lot of people are talking about it. But, I want to talk about different stuff on this show. I want to talk about movies, upcoming movies, things like that, or movies that I like, or, even TV shows that I'm currently watching, because I could create my own bubble of media, I guess. It's like my whole network. It's a whole network with lots of different sections and little categories and areas. And I think so far in the show I've just been covering one category, and that's like headlines, the news. And I'm not doing the show to do the news. I'm not here to provide information. I'm just covering my response to the information that I read and watch, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because there's always something going on, there's always something different, and it never ends. There just seems to be no end. There's like big revolutions going on, and it seems to be perpetuated by what's posted on the internet. And even though this is a show that exists entirely on the internet, if the internet didn't exist, this show wouldn't exist. But I would like to get away from what's being covered on the internet, and I'd like to stop saying the word internet, because I think I say it weird. And sometimes I say it weird, like, the internet. I love the internet. So let me just try to get all my internets out right now. Internet. I'm done talking about the internet. So maybe net neutrality being repealed might be a good thing, because maybe it'll break us of this trance that we're in. online because people are just glued to the thing. People are just caught in the web. They call it the World Wide Web for a reason, because you get caught in it and you can't turn away. And I think one of the reasons that I'm doing the bonus episode today is because I'm trying to fight that. I'm trying to fight that distraction because it takes away a lot of productivity from me. But at the same time, I absorb, observe and absorb the content that I read and watch with a kind of work ethic to see how it can affect my voice as a writer, you know, because it's always good to know what's going on in the world if you're writing something that's current, you know, like something that'll speak to the culture. And so I spend a lot of the time just absorbing that culture, and I believe that I've absorbed too much of it. I've absorbed too much of it, and there is more that I want to absorb, but like it's already too much. It's been too much, and this is someone who's I kind of took a sabbatical from my online identity for the last 5 years, and I'm trying to get back into it. But it's not that everything is different now. There's just so much more of everything. It's like just saturated. The culture's been saturated by all this information and all this new knowledge that's being, you know, exposed via Twitter and the New York Times and other avenues, wherever you get your news from, wherever you get your media from. It's like it's being influenced and perpetuated by that. It's just this constant machine. It's like the reason why postal workers snap, because, you know, the mail just never stops. At least that was the reason Newman gave as a postman on Seinfeld. But yeah, it just doesn't stop. And so you gotta make it stop by distancing yourself from it. And I think the purpose of this episode is to distance myself from that. I mean, I'll still cover the headlines and stuff like that, but I just want that to be a small section of the show. And sometimes I talk about other things that are unrelated. It kind of gets me off on a tangent. I start talking about something personal, maybe, and that's good. You know, if it's good if the news can help open up a realization I have in my own personal life, because, you know, your life isn't the news. And like, what's going on in the world isn't what's going on in your life. You have your own little world that you have to maintain and upkeep. And I'm not doing as much as I would like with that. I mean, I have a serious procrastination problem, I suppose. I mean, I can justify it, but the fact of the matter is I procrastinate like crazy. But that's the writer's way. And the thing about being a writer and procrastinating is you can do productive procrastination. You can be watching something that's really big, you know, like say you watch a Netflix show that's really big, or, you know, a movie, and you get an idea of what's popular in media right now, so you can come up with your own version of that. And so I'm always watching stuff and always making mental notes, but I gotta make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons. I don't want to know what the trends are just so I can cater to certain demographics. I'm not trying to cater to any demographic. I'm trying to write timeless stuff here, you know, and I don't want it to be dated or anything. So the best way to try to avoid dating myself with the work I do, because it might be years before it even comes up, and I gotta take this call. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. There was a situation that needed to get resolved. That was my wife on the line. Yeah, so I might as well be open about what I was talking about on the phone. Like, my wife is out working, and while she was driving, the car got a flat, and so miraculously we got some money in thanks to my writing projects and my great client Lorraine Taylor. Yeah, she's kind of helped us out of a jam there, so we were able to get a new tire and everything like that. So that's cool. That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah. See, my writing is working out. So that's why I hate procrastinating. I hate procrastinating because, I got clients rooting for me right now, waiting to get stuff done, but I want the work I'm doing to kind of reflect what's going on in the culture, but because of Trump's America, it's always changing. So now I'm trying to think of a way to make it more timeless, but it's almost impossible to do because the world is so dominated by our current technologies and our current fads. I don't like putting references to Facebook or Twitter or anything like that in my scripts because one of these days I don't think these social networks are going to be as relevant. I hope they're not as relevant uh, later in the century as they are now. I mean, I hope that one day Facebook and Twitter will uh, take a MySpace and just go away. It's okay. I don't need to connect that much. It's okay because it's like it's Facebook, like Twitter, like all the social networks are just they're just a factory of blah. They're just a factory of blah. One person will be sharing pictures of their family or the food they're eating, and another post will be posting like some uh, defamatory clickbait article, which I usually ignore those, but sometimes you find a headline and you just can't resist. And what I hate the most about that is when you're scrolling down and you see a headline and it doesn't finish the headline. Like the headlines are so big, it doesn't finish the headline. And I'm like, what? You expect me to click on this so I can read the rest of the headline? I mean, come on. Like, don't do that to me. I know you need your clicks, but don't try to manipulate me into clicking because you didn't put the whole headline on the post. I mean, get out of here. And that's just one of many things that annoys me about social networking. And I would love to self-promote myself, but I don't. I mean, this is a problem. I think this is a problem with the era that I was raised in. Because apparently it's cool to self-promote now. It's like it's a really in thing, and it's happening. It's an endless trend of people who you know who might be going somewhere or going nowhere, but everyone's just promoting themselves and what they could do, and I don't. I it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't like doing it myself. I mean, it's cool if other people promote anything I do. Like, my wife, shares any posts I put on YouTube or anything like that, and that's cool because it's not me doing it, it's her. Or if friends share it, that's cool. But I don't want to share my content myself because it's just like, hey, it's like the annoying guy, like, hey, listen to my demo. Yeah, watch my reel. Look at this. Look at that. Look at me. Look at me. I'm not a look at me guy. I'm other people could say, hey, look at this guy, but it's not my place to say, hey, look at me. I'm not really an attention whore. I don't want to attract. I mean, I want to attract attention, but I don't want to look for it myself. I want it to be earned from other people, and I want other people to say, hey, this is something worth looking at. That's how I am always imagine promotion working. Um, but apparently it's just an in thing to, like, prostitute your wares and say, hey, look at me. And okay, well, sometimes I have to do it. Like, I have a fan page, so whatever I create will go on that fan page. And I will share it on my regular page. But that's as far as it'll go. I'm not going to try to spam people saying, hey, look at this, look at that, this is me doing this. And I'm like, no. It's like, I gotta keep, that's a big part of keeping your ego in check. It's like, keeping your ego in check is, all it takes is to not say, hey, look at me. Don't say it. And, and I like to keep my ego in check that way, But I think I think the whole point of this bonus episode is I want to stop procrastinating. Just the idea that I'm doing this episode this is a form of procrastination, but it's productive procrastination because I'm creating content, and I guess that's all right. It makes it okay. I hope. But it's better than just sitting on my ass and watching Netflix or YouTube for the rest of the day and just being like, oh, like a zombie. Which, I am a lot of the time, but I don't want to be that way all the time. I think I've seen enough. I'm not going to say I've seen it all, but I've seen enough, right? I've seen enough. I mean, I saw enough way back when I was writing stuff. I've seen enough to build my own stuff from. I don't know why I have to keep distracting myself with other stuff to see if I can find new inspiration, because the inspiration's already there. Why can't I just work with the inspiration that's already there? And for some reason, my mind thinks that, oh, I gotta keep current, gotta know what's going down, gotta know the trends, gotta know this, gotta know that. And why? It's just gonna change anyway. It's just a variation. Everything is the same as it was before. They're just talking about more stuff now. The whole, the sexual harassment conspiracy. I mean, that shit's been going on for decades, probably even centuries, but we're talking about it. Like, what's revolutionary about this particular point in history is that we're not afraid to talk about the things that we're afraid to talk about, either due to, politeness or social contract, or, if you're just not a dick and you keep stuff quiet, because, dicks will call you out, being like, hey, that's bullshit. And I'm not, because I don't really react like that, because it's not my initial reaction. It's like, I get like 4 different reactions. There's 4 different reactions for everything that I experience. And I go with the reaction that feels the truest, to me. And maybe that's not the same as it is for other people, but that's the way it is for me. So I initially have 4 reactions, and I have to choose between those. It's a multiple choice reaction. It's like, I can do this, I can do that, I can do it that way. But, I have to go with the best one. And if I haven't made that decision by the time the conversation is over, then I will not speak my position unless it comes up again. And then I'll be ready. Because almost every topic always comes up again eventually. So if I come up with something clever to say, I'll just say it next time, and I'll just wait for the right time to say it. And it's awesome when that happens, when you're like, oh, here it comes. This is my, I'm gonna wait for my cue, and then you just hear something. Okay, that'll fit what I have to say. That's a fitting prelude to what I have to say. So one person says one thing, and I say, hey, and then that's my line, and that's it. And I make my exit. Yep, I quit while I'm ahead. I don't try to push things. Yeah, because I think that's a big issue. People keep trying to push things, They try to impose themselves on, certain people or certain groups of people, or people you want to be friends with, or girls you want to get in the pants out, like, whatever. You try to push yourself there, and if you push yourself there, guess what? It ain't gonna work out for you, because you have to organically infiltrate yourself into it, and you have to do it unconsciously, and you have to do it effortlessly. That's how communication works. And I know it, but I'm not an expert communicator. If I was, I think I'd be more successful now. But, I'm teaching myself things. I'm learning a little more how the world works. Finding out about things I didn't know about, and how people think, and how people feel about certain things. It's like you gotta work with folks. You gotta work with the way they see things, and you gotta work with the way you see things, and you gotta mix those together and find, like, a nice little happy medium. And it's because I think about these things all the time that it stops me from just cutting loose. I gotta cut loose and just do my thing, because when I write, I just cut loose. That's it. I just go. I don't put, I only put thought into it before I write. I don't have that much thought after I write. After that, it's just kind of automatic. Okay, I'll do this here. And I seem to have forgotten that over the last couple of years, because I used to just keep producing script after script after script. But over time, when you're waiting for something to happen with one project and it doesn't happen, you kind of become disillusioned, and you wonder like, what's wrong with what I did, and how can I make it better for the next one? So you kind of become this obsessive lunatic about your work, a perfectionist, and you work forever on one thing, and so when it's done, it's like really, really important. And I want to stop putting that level of importance over the work I do. Yeah, it's important because it's what I've been asked to do, but it's not. It's not going to save the world. I'm not going to write anything that'll save the world or change the world or anything like that. Or if I do, great. But if I do something like that, I will do it unknowingly and effortlessly. This is the lecture I have to drill into myself every time before I write. I just have to do it. Just go do it. And like Shia LaBeouf is right. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah. Just do it. That's all you gotta do. You know what you gotta do. So you're an intelligent human being. So just do it. It's I mean, how how simple does it get? I don't know. Just preach it, Shia. Just okay.
Once a client sees a 3D rendering,
Dad.
they have that.
I was trying to be clever. Here. Oh, what? Hey, Shia, how's it going?
Do it!
Oh, hey.
Just do it!
Okay. What do you mean?
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it!
Just do it.
Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Okay. How?
Some people dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible!
Nothing is impossible. You're right. You're really right.
You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there! No! What are you waiting for? Do it!
Amen. Do it.
Just do it!
Okay.
Yes, you can!
Okay.
Just do it!
Can I? Can I just do it?
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
Stop giving up. Okay. Just do it. Man, macho male posturing in that video. But, he has a point. He just got to do it. It ain't that hard. So, when this episode is over, I'm gonna probably listen to it again. Just make sure there weren't any foul-ups with the audio capture. And, after that, I already started my next script, and I just gotta finish it. Like, just do it. I just gotta do it. That's all there is to it. I appreciate being a working writer. It's amazing, and if I just keep up the productivity and just hold myself to writing 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day is all I need to come up with some substantial work, and I gotta put those 4 hours to the side and just work during those hours, and it's about discipline, and it's a difficult discipline to get, especially when you're your own boss and you want to be cool with yourself, but at the same time, the other side of you is just slacking, not doing shit, and so you gotta get all shy on yourself, and you gotta get up, and you gotta get up on yourself, and you just gotta tell yourself to do it. Just do it, right? It's like, not the biggest fan of Shia, but he has a point there. He has a point. So mad respect, no disrespect, mad respect. You're crazy, but I got a little respect. It's like, do something stupid will wear thin, but you got it right there when it comes to the just do it mantra. Because all you gotta do is just do it. So that's life as a writer, And I think I'm recording all this and saying all this because I need to hold myself to it. I need to hold myself to the 4 hours. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm in the mood or not. Once I get rolling, I'll be rolling. The hardest thing to do, the hardest thing about writing is deciding to do it. Doing it is nothing. I mean, it's just, sometimes you'll stop yourself because you think what you're writing is stupid, or something, and there won't be any real reason why you think it's stupid because it's too subjective. Right there. You can't be objective if it's that fresh. So you got to give yourself some distance, and then you come back to it, and I'm like, oh wait, this sucks, that sucks, this sucks. But if you're gonna be a writer, you have to know what doesn't suck, and sometimes I just don't know what doesn't suck. There's like a gap between the quality that you enjoy and the quality that you produce, and you gotta bridge that gap. You gotta bridge it out. You know, that's a variation of like something Ira Glass said. About the gap. Um, there's a gap right there, and I'm gonna look up exactly what he says so I could quote it because it's one of the best quotes ever. It's a quote that's worth saving into your mental archives. Um, there we go. There we go. All right, here's the quote from Ira Glass about the gap. Nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there's this gap. For the first couple of years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good, it has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have this special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this, and if you're just starting out or you're still in this phase, you gotta know it's normal, and the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week you will finish one story. It is only by going through a volume of work that you will close that gap, and your work will be as good as your ambitions. And I took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've ever met. It's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You just gotta fight your way through. So that's the true chew right there. You can't deny it. But the thing is, it said in the quote said that you have to produce a volume of work to bridge that gap. But the thing was, I produced a large volume of work before I even realized there was a gap. And it wasn't until I got feedback from, on later scripts that I wrote, not like the early ones, but the later ones, I realized what was lacking. And so I've been spending the last 3 years trying to correct that, and it's gotten me very self-conscious about the work I do. And now my job is to just forget that. I gotta forget it. It's like if your work's not up to snuff, it's not up to snuff. You just gotta know what your vision is and put it out there, and hopefully it will be accepted. That's the long and veiny of it. All right, I'm gonna burp real quick, or at least I thought I was. Where's the burp? Wait. Oh God, I was gonna try to make that audible, but if I tried to make it audible, I would have vomited in my mouth, and no one wants that. But yeah, procrastination, guys, don't do it, or do it, but know why you're doing it. I procrastinate because it's not because I'm blocked or anything. I just want to make sure that I don't lose an influence. I'm very. I guess I'm just scared of not being inspired by something that should inspire me, and I always try to follow my intuition when it comes to the stuff I watch. And sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. Like right now, I look in my intuition. My intuition right now is to just write. Like when I'm done here, I'm gonna be writing. And other times, it's that I have the intuition just to watch something on YouTube, or I have the intuition to watch a certain show, or a movie. You get in these moods, and you're not always in these moods, but when you're in the mood for something, you gotta seize it, because it might not come back for a while. Like, I've been waiting for the mood to watch The Room again. I haven't really watched that whole movie in about 4 years now, or maybe about a little more than about 4 years now. I haven't seen that whole thing in its entirety, and I've just been waiting for that time to just watch it. That sweet spot when I'm actually in the mood to watch The Room. and I just haven't been there lately. And when it comes to like listening to music, some days I'm in a music listening mood and I just want to listen to music, you know. And you know, it just depends on that intuitiveness, and like when you get in the mood for something, your intuition is telling you, like, you know, experience this. And the problem I've been having is my intuition hasn't been create this. And usually it was even handed, like, you know, it was between, you know, experience this or create this. Experience this, create this. Now it's most of the time it's experience this, and very rarely is it create this. And when I'm in create this mode, I gotta create, gotta do it, you know. And I think I'm there today, and it's great to be there. And I want to be there, not every day, 5 days a week, and not even a whole day, 4 hours out of 5 days a week. You know, that's like good 20 hours worth of writing every week. That's nothing. That is nothing. And it's easy to look at it like that, you know. It's easy to look at it like that. Yeah. But hey, that's my piece on the matter, you know. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this unconventional bonus episode event, and if you excuse me, I'm just gonna get to writing now. The intuition's calling me. Let's get to work.